gamer guys and gamer girls, welcome back to another episode of Game Chat. I think that's what we've tentatively called it. Yes, Murdo. We're a family.
I'm still pushing for Brock Talks, even if it's not about me.
It's all about you, Jamie.
It's always about you, Jamie, don't worry.
Has to be.
So, in the last video we did Jamie's favourite games, and now we're going to do Murdo's favourite games. So, let's just not waste any time, right? Let's not do any fluffer.
Fluffer.
Hit me.
Go!
Right, well, a little bit of fluffer, though. I just want to quickly say, Jamie, you mentioned a couple of things in yours that would have been on mine.
I thought you
so
did,
anyone who hasn't listened to that, I'd recommend you go back and do it. Just like I could talk about like Mortal Kombat or the Telltale games, but Mortal Kombat and Tekken were like the first games I properly got into, but I've explained all the Mortal Kombat stuff in the previous one, so go and listen to that.
So what you're saying is you're uninventive and I'm the creative soul of this channel.
Listen, mate, you've
Fine.
Start the list.
Fine. No, number one, I'm just going to get it out of the way. It's probably the one that's going to get talked about the most. I have to talk about Gears in some respect if I'm talking about my favourite games. Is it cheating to kind of go for the whole series?
No. Jamie did it, so you're Gucci.
Oh, that's fine then. That's good. Like if I had to pick one, it would be the second. But Gears 1 was the second game I ever played on 360, and like I'd played third-person shooters before on PS2, PS1 kind of stuff, but it never felt as tight or as responsive.
Well, it was revolutionary for the time, wasn't it?
It was so good. Yeah. It was just unbelievable, and like visually as well for the time. Obviously, looking back now, hasn't aged very well, but my god, at the time it was beautiful.
It's very muddy.
It gets. Oh yeah. It's. I think that's like. Yeah, it's brown. That's the best way to describe it. Well, the first two anyway, but.
Brown is.
It kind of got. It got shit-canned quite a bit for, just like it's kind of meatheads and it's, big roided out boys fighting aliens. But, especially in the second one, there's a surprisingly emotional story, like, running through it.
Oh, see, yeah. I've heard bits of that. It's like a
How
friendship
much
or something.
Gears have you played, Jason?
Well, I was saying to Jamie before you came on, he guessed Gears would be on it. I said the only one I've ever played. I think I played all of it. Gears 4. I didn't like it.
Well, well, you might like the original 3 because a lot of people don't like Gears 4.
Including me.
I just found it very
including Jamie.
Bland.
No, like when I'm saying Gears, like I do like Gears 4, but if I'm putting it in like my favorite games, it's the first 3. I think. It's just the original trilogy. You've got the original game that was brilliant. The second one stepped everything up, made it even better, and the third one somehow managed to build on top of that. It was just like a perfect trilogy, really, where it just kept bettering itself.
And was there throughout the 3 games was there an overarching story?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think like each one's its own self-contained story as well, but there are things that carry through. There's like one character's, he's searching for his wife, and there's an overarching thing, but it's surprisingly emotional.
Yeah.
With the exception of like Judgment.
We'll
just ignore Judgment.
I was going to talk about Judgment actually.
Why?
Because I don't now. Like I said, I'm a bit of a Gears of War novice. So what was the script with Judgment?
Not a lot, to be honest. That was kind of the problem. The story was just really uninteresting. They kind of decided, I know who everybody wants to play as, and it's like, one of the it's like there's 4 people in the main squad, and they're like, let's play as the worst of them.
The most sarcastic assholey character.
Right.
Like for an entire game, they changed all the controls for no reason at all, other than to be different.
Yeah, that's a strange one.
And I think that might have been when they started really bringing microtransactions into it. Yeah. Gears of War 4, really bad for it, but I think they kind of started it in Judgment. But no, just the gameplay of Gears, all the weapons. I can't think of any 2 that are alike. It's not like maybe Halo, where you've got a human weapon and then you've got the alien equivalent.
Yeah.
they're all completely different.
I must say, the two parts of Gears of War 4 that I really enjoyed. It was one bit was at the very start, and you got to use, I forget what it's called, the Hammer of God, I think.
Hammer of Dawn.
Hammer of Dawn. That's
just
fucking
giant
sick.
sky laser.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's so good, and they break it up as well. Like as you're going through the campaigns, I mean, obviously, you walk into a room and it's just full of chest-high walls. You know shit's going to go down, and it does go like that for a bit, but then it breaks it up. There's vehicular segments, and there's bits where I think there's one section in the second one where you're handicapped by the fact you've only got like one arm because the other one's attached to this bomb, and you've got to get the bomb from one end of the level to the other.
God, yeah, you've got to carry it, and it's you and your partner. So if you're playing it with a second player, you've both got like you can't go too far forward, or you can't make a right hand turn because they can't.
You're just spinning in circles. But no, I just think it was revolutionary, and it's some of the most fun I've ever had gaming. And I couldn't not mention it.
One of the most revolutionary things from, again, an outsider's perspective was the Horde.
Horde mode. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I wrote that down and forgot to say it. Yes, thanks, Jason.
You're welcome. I'm a terrific host.
Yeah, because Gears 2 came out in 2008, and it had the Horde mode, and maybe games had done it before, but it really popularized this whole thing of fighting waves, like increasingly difficult waves of enemies.
That and ODST.
Well, ODST came out afterwards with Firefight.
Yeah, that's right. They were the two biggest ones that I know that had like a horde mode,
Yeah, the closest thing I could maybe liken it to, but do you know what? This came out 4 days after Gears of War, because I've researched this. Call of Duty World at War, it had Nazi zombies. So that came out 4 days later, so they're filthy copycats.
Yeah.
That was the other part of Gears of War 4 that I enjoyed. I really enjoyed the Horde mode.
Love the Horde mode. It's so good. Like, see if you get like a full squad of 4 or 5 people playing Horde, like on 4 especially, because they really went in with their class systems. So if you get 5 people who all know what they're supposed to be doing, if you've got like your scout, your heavy, your soldier, sniper, and all that, if everybody knows what they're doing, it's so much fun.
Oh, it's brilliant.
And it's so good. But yeah, Gears had to be talked about.
I just played it with myself.
That's sad.
Jason plays with himself. You heard it here first.
Yeah, that's why I wear glasses.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Well, that's a very popular franchise. Like I said, I haven't really delved too much into it, but I mean, it's immensely popular. And I remember seeing an Ashen's video where he did like game collector stuff, and there's one, I think it was Gears of War 3 maybe, and it came with like a cool little steel gear. It's quite...
Oh god, yeah. I got that edition because there was 3 editions released. I think there was like the normal edition, the special edition, then the epic edition. The special edition is the one that I got. It comes in like a kind of rubbery case. It's got the Metal Gear inside it. It's got like schematics for the Hammer of Dawn, a letter that Dom wrote to his wife or something, and Adam Phoenix, and just a bunch of different stuff like that. And then the epic edition came with just all of that and a
everything.
Fuck off statue.
I know it looked pretty cool. So Gears of War.
Oh, it definitely is.
Very nice.
It was beautiful. Can I add something just to the Gears of War, because I also love Gears. Not just I say huge games, huge impact. I say revolutionary for everything. They spawned off so many other huge things, like the kind of Gears of War mythos and like world itself. Those, like, they've put out 5 books, and Murdo, you've read them all as well, haven't you?
I've read the first one.
Alright, I've read all of them thanks to you, because you gave me the last one, the slab. They are 5 absolutely beautiful books. They tell brilliant stories, and just everything about Gears was just beautiful. Like, I think it was magnificently done. I used to wear fucking cog tags, like, because they don't have dog tags, they're Gears of War. Yeah, no, I was really cool with and popular. But yeah, it's nice to see a game have an outside world influence. And I remember seeing, the first time I knew it was so super big, I was in Glasgow, and I saw 3 different people, not together, all of them wearing a beanie with the Crimson Omen, like the big red skull on it.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's Gears is big, I need to play this.
See, when I think of Gears of War in popular culture, I think of Pete Wentz from Fallout Boy.
Fallout Boy.
Yeah, he had his base for a time always had the cog.
Oh, did it?
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to them in years.
Yeah, me neither.
Who has?
True.
You apparently.
No, see, those the books, Jamie. The craziest thing about them is that the author, she had never once touched a Gears of War game, but she managed to, like, I don't know, it was so well done, and she seemed to have such a really brilliant understanding of the world without ever having actually played one.
It was the same with Halo. She did a pile of Halo books that they're amazing to read. Like, they're really good.
Yeah. Anyway, that's number one, Gears.
Solid choice.
Number 2, I'm going back a little bit.
Oh-ho.
Mega Man X.
There we go. I thought
Mega Man X. So my initial exposure to the game was I borrowed the X collection on PS2 off a friend. Played through the first one and just fell in love with it. And then he wanted it back. So, you know, I didn't have money to be buying games. My parents weren't buying me games. So the only way I could access the game for years was through dirty emulation.
Oh,
yeah. I know, but
thieving.
it's so good. Then eventually got it on Virtual Console on my DS, and now I've got the PS4 collection. I've only played through the first one on that. I'm looking forward to going through the rest of them because of how much I love the first. But, you know, the game came out the late 80s, I believe, and I don't think, like, 2D shooting has ever been better. I never really got into the classic series Mega Man games. There was just something clunky about them. I don't know if it's just because it's
probably because it's
NES
so old.
versus Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's just difficult to go back to them. And the collection that they've put out on the modern consoles for the classic games, it's got a weird delay, and because they're such challenging games, having an input lag really screws you over, so it's really hard to get into them.
Yeah, you need the precision, definitely.
But no, just the gameplay feels so good. It was just such an incredible step up from the classic series. Like, they just improved on everything. The soundtrack, my god, the soundtrack in Mega Man X.
It's legendary.
It's so unbelievably good. And
he's going to sing one of them now.
No, he's not. No, he's really not. My favorite thing about it is kind of like the best way I heard it described was like a rock, paper, scissors kind of thing, where, you know, you've got access to all the bosses right at the start of the game, and each boss is weak to another boss's weapon. Like, when you beat a boss, you get their weapon to use in each level you play after. So it's kind of like trying to figure out which boss is weak to which weapon.
Which is a cool thing.
Oh, it's great.
You know, especially in 2D games, I don't think that's been implemented either at all or as well.
No, absolutely not. I think it's a Mega Man thing, because that was in the classic series as well, so I can't say that that's specific to X. I just think X improved on everything the classic series did. It was just because people at the time, from what I had read, because I wasn't alive, were getting a bit sick of it, because I think the classic series had gone up to Mega Man 6 by that point, and it was just the exact same game, just with different bosses. So when the Super Nintendo came out, they said, right, we're going to have to change it all up, and they just improved on everything. And it's a game that I can go back to. Just, it's endlessly replayable for me. I don't know what it is specifically about it, but I just absolutely adore it.
See, I don't think I've ever played Mega Man X. I've played a couple of the the older ones. Have you played any of the subsequent ones?
No. I've got the collection on PS4, but I've only played the original Mega Man X. But I'm gonna go into X2, X3, because there's 8 of them as well.
Yeah.
Mega Man's got so many. There's 10 main series games, 8 of the X games. There's 3 Legends games. It's mad how much mileage Nintendo get out of their characters.
I think also, like the classic Mega Man series, the X games do dip quite significantly in quality towards the end there.
Well, so I've heard that X2 and X3 are still amazing, and then 4 is kind of where it starts to maybe take a dip down, and then by X8 they're just not really worth it.
And then you have Mighty Number 9.
And then, whatever that was, I didn't even try that.
I did.
I've still not tried Mega Man 11, apart from a demo, but it was really fun. But that's classic Mega Man. Oh yeah, There's 11 now. Fuck. Jesus. But no, it's. I would love to play it on the original hardware, but Super Nintendo is the system that everyone wants to collect for.
I think maybe a little bit less so now because of the.
You reckon? Because like I looked on eBay and just a car-only copy of Mega Man X is like 90 quid.
Wow.
Jesus.
Well, I figured just because of the classic that it would go down in price. But
true.
Clearly,
well, I mean, if you were saying you've never played Mega Man X, it's on there and it is worth trying.
Yeah.
But that shit always blows me away when you see like retro stuff. Like when's the last time I won't say it myself because I just did it like a couple of days ago. When's the last time either of you paid £90 for a modern game, like a new game?
Never.
No.
Yeah.
Yours was probably what, Injustice 2?
It was Injustice until I pre-ordered Mortal Kombat X the other day.
Yeah.
And even that was £80, $79.99.
Bargain.
Yeah, obviously so. I might get different shaders.
No, retro collecting's scary. Like, it's a bit of a tangent, but there's this one game on PS1 that I would just love to get. It's an RPG called Legend of Dragoon. I don't know if either of you have ever played or heard of it, but the cheapest copy I could find was like 200 quid
It's
for
mental.
a PAL one.
It's
It's
mental.
so dumb. And it's like no
Or you
wonder
could just
people
emulate it free. Yeah.
That's exactly it.
And we've because I last year I was heavy into emulating the GameCube on my computer, and it's such like I was playing Hit and Run again, another tangent, but
So good.
it's so good, and the fact that I can upscale it, I can make the textures better, I can play it in 4K,
Yeah. That's one of the things I want. I've got an emulator on my phone just now to play like old Pokemon and that, but it's weird how it always seems to tie in everything we say. I've been trying for like a month to emulate. I don't know if either of you played it on the PS2 and original Xbox. There was an old Punisher game that, strangely enough, I loved, and
Oh, really?
I know you can emulate it. I know it's weird, right? I know you can emulate it, and I know there is like 4K upgrades and all this stuff for it, but I just can't get it to work, and I'm so annoyed. I've never wanted to go back and play a game as much as that one. You know?
Actually, I have that. I have that game
Cool.
because
Can I have it? Mine until you gave me an Xbox.
Yeah.
Can I have it?
Because when I remember years ago when I bought a PS3, the guy that sent it up gave me that game for free to like say, oh
Nice.
yeah, it was one of the ones I could play PS2. He was like,
Yeah.
oh, here's to prove it. I was like, oh, cheers, that's really nice. He wrote like a little letter and everything.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
Jesus.
that's
So-
awesome. No, yeah, that
so-
was a brilliant game.
So Mega Man
Mega Man
X specifically.
Mega Man X, yeah.
Very nice.
Cool.
Third is, as far as like single player campaigns, like just a 10-hour story driven experience, start to finish. The best I've ever played is the original BioShock.
Okay.
Ooh, good shout. Yeah.
Yeah, has to be like it's my favorite video game setting of all time. Just an underwater city. It's so creepy, and just the sense of like going through it for the first time, and you're jumping at every shadow. There's this one bit you're walking through a corridor, and you can see the shadow of a woman, like she's leaning into a pram. And she's singing to this pram, and you're like, okay, that's kind of weird. You as you get closer, she's there. She turns around and starts trying to kill you, so you've got to take her out. And then you walk up to the pram, and it's a revolver that's sat in the pram. It's not a baby, it's a gun. And it's just everyone has just gone so completely insane, but they're loving it.
Yeah.
I know.
Splicers, isn't it? It's that Splicers.
Splicers. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
like
it.
you've got like thuggish splicers. There's nitro
Yeah.
splicers. The spider splicers, the ones that crawl on the ceilings
Oh,
and like
with the
throw
claws,
hooks at
yeah.
you. Yeah, they're terrifying. I still am freaked out by them. But that bit, just when you first start the game, and the plane crashes, and then you surface and you can see about just the water, and the water's on fire. You can see the lighthouse in the distance. The visuals there, unbelievable.
Well, it's iconic, isn't it?
It's just I'd never played anything like it. I haven't played anything like it since. Like the second one, Jamie, I think you prefer the second one.
I was just going to say that something about the second one. I don't know what it was because I loved the first one. I played the second one first and then the first one second. But yeah, something about the second one just really appealed to me way more. But I loved the story of the first one. Did you play Infinite?
I did. Yeah. I liked it.
What did you think of that?
I liked it. I can't figure out if I liked it more or less than 2, because I'm not like. There's a lot of people who will say the first one is the only good one and 2 just shat all over everything. It's a sequel. It's less like you're not exploring as much because you've already been in Rapture, so it's not as new. It's not as creepy, but it's good fun. But just the story experience of the first one and the twist. Yeah. I'd never been so surprised at a video game ending before, but like the "Would you kindly" revelation.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing.
No, it's amazing.
It's so good.
See,
but
I think
no, just
sorry, Murdo. I think with the "Would you kindly," I think anyone new who wants to play BioShock, that's been so widely spoiled.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I wasn't sure if.
That's why we didn't even bother saying spoilers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've never played the first BioShock. But I know
spoilers.
Yeah, I know the spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just because the game came out 12 years ago now.
Wow, we're old.
Yeah, if you've not played it by this point, it's kind of your own fault.
Jason.
So,
Right,
Jason.
fuck off, lads.
That was
I'll kick you off my channel.
And lose half your views? I'm kidding. That was mean.
Oh no, you're right now. You're right now.
No, yeah, I agree. I was just going to say, I think with BioShock 1, that was the first time a game had like tricked me. I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck you. No, I'm in charge. I'm the video game.
Yeah.
You know, I know
exactly.
this is mine.
Because you're there for like 10 hours, and I had been taking I've been going to like every nook and cranny, taking in everything I could, like paying as close attention as I could to everything, and it still got me. Like it was so good, and just how mental everyone is. There's this one boss fight right at the start where you're fighting a guy called Dr. Steinman. He's this surgeon who has gone completely off the rails and has just started butchering people.
Oh god, yeah.
It's pretty horrible, but it's like when you go into his boss room, he's got people strung up on the walls, and he's like, this one was too fat, now she's dead. This one was like far too skinny. This one, her face was too symmetrical, so I've like pulled it all apart, stuck it back together. But like as you're fighting him, he's just hurling abuse at you, calling you an ugly bastard the entire time. It's hilarious. But no,
things
BioShock,
we can all relate to, eh?
Yeah, BioShock's just iconic. It's just so good.
I've played Infinite. I think I discussed it with you, Murdo, actually.
Oh. If you have, I've forgotten it.
I just remember I played it probably about 4 years ago now. I really enjoyed it, actually. But I remember saying to you about the ending. It's like, what happened?
Yeah, because the ending of Infinite is just... I mean, even if you've played the rest of them, it still takes a bit of... I'm still not even entirely sure I understood it.
Yeah.
Like, I played through it. Yeah, because you're just kind of abruptly, you're back in the first game for reasons, and then there's 7 of you, and you're this old man, and then he drowns. I don't know.
The best thing I ever... Sorry. On you go.
No, go. No, I was gonna wrap up if you've got more.
All right.
Go on.
No, it's just because I think, I remember, I think everyone had the same thing with BioShock Infinite. The best thing I saw was that everybody that I know that finished it, I messaged them and said, it was like, how long until after you finished it did you check Wikipedia to ask what the fuck happened? And everyone was like, yeah, I don't really know, but it was really cool though, and I think I got drowned by my sister maybe? And it was like, okay, yeah, I don't know.
Do you think it was a bit of a try-hard thing? Like, oh, we better put a fucking twist in this.
100%.
Yeah.
It's like the fucking M. Night Shyamalan movies.
I don't.
Yeah.
You need.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. A good twist, like again, not okay. Spoilers if you haven't seen The Sixth Sense. This joke that's older than the three of us. But you know when you get a really, really, really good twist in a film or a game or a book, and it still hits you. So you've been told growing up your whole fucking life, if you're into like film and stuff, Bruce Willis is a ghost, right? When I finally watched The Sixth Sense, I was still like, oh fuck, he's a ghost, you know. And then I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. But, a good twist can do that to you. Not you've been your own arch villain the whole time and your own... Is he his own dad as well? Oh, fuck.
No, he's you.
Oh, Christ, I forget that. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's mad, but no, specifically the first one. Like, I think it was one of those games because there's a fair few things like this, but they could have just had BioShock, a standalone experience. You didn't need to put sequels out. It's perfect on its own. So I'm just talking about the first one here.
Excellent.
Good shout.
Yeah. Number 4 is my most played game of all time. It's The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say it. Good shout.
Oblivion has to be. I had PS1, PS2, and then stopped gaming altogether for a while. And then my cousin, I was at his house, and he was playing this like fantasy game. He was in a cave, and he's like, okay, just like if you see anything move in this cave up ahead, let me know. I'm like, okay, cool. And I was so invested, I had no idea what it was. And then eventually he let me borrow it, and I took it home, and I had it installed on like our family computer, which was shit. Like it was beyond terrible. Like I was playing this on the worst settings. But it reignited my love for gaming. And ever since I started playing Oblivion, I've been hooked. I wish I was exaggerating when I say this, but across like the 4 or 5 systems I've bought this game on, I've got well over 1,000 hours in it. It's disgusting, but
I can believe it.
Oh no, genuinely. The quests in that game, like it's hard to go back to Oblivion if you've played Skyrim first. I'll say that much. Skyrim's it's more polished, but the quests in Oblivion I found to be much better, specifically like the faction quests. So, the Dark Brotherhood. In Skyrim, you access the Dark Brotherhood by starting this very specific quest, and then after you do that, you get found by someone in the Dark Brotherhood, and then it starts from there. In Oblivion, you just need to kill someone. Anybody at all. Just murder someone and have a snooze. And this guy just kind of pops up and starts you on the Dark Brotherhood quest line. But when you're actually getting contracts in Skyrim, it's pretty much you just have to hide in a corner, fire an arrow, and you're done. But in Oblivion, if you were willing to look hard enough, there was always a special way to do it. So in one, it was like you could either go into this guy's house and shoot him dead or stab him, whatever, and he'd be done. Or you could sneak into his house, and I think you like go up into his room, and he's got like his like daily routine written down, and he says at like 7 p.m. I sit down by the fire and I read a book for an hour, and just above where his chair is, there's like a big stuffed boar head, and if you go again into his room, there's like a little crawl space that you can crawl into, and while he's sat reading his book, you can untie the boar head and have it drop on him and kill him that way and make it look like an accident. It just felt like there was a lot more thought put into the quest. Like the leveling system is dog shit in Oblivion. It's terrible. In Skyrim, it was pretty much do what you want to do and you'll get good at that stuff, and the game will level with you, and it's a much better experience. Whereas Oblivion, you kind of have to know right at the beginning what you want to play and pick your major skills, because anything that you level up outside those major skills doesn't contribute to your actual level. And then if you get really good at like lock picking and level up that way, all the enemies in the world level up with you, but they're going to level up in combat skills, and you're just going to get wrecked every single time. So that's one thing I'll say Skyrim did better. But Oblivion, just from the moment you first get like that starter dungeon as well, best starter dungeon tutorial level I've ever played.
Patrick Stewart with you.
Love it. Oh, it's so good. It's so campy and it's so good though. But it's become a trope of Bethesda games now where you do your starter dungeon and then you leave like mouth of a cave, you open the door of the vault, whatever. But when you leave the sewer and it's like blazing sunshine, you've got this river in front of you, there's a ruin off in the distance, big hills like way back, full of trees. It looks like graphically looks like crap now, but when I first saw that, I was just sat there thinking, wait, I can go anywhere, like for real. Yeah. I can do whatever I want. That's insane.
Well, in 2005, it looked pretty.
For
decent.
2005, it looked incredible.
Yeah.
But
in 2019, not so much.
Yeah, surprisingly enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, as I say, it was. I don't know how much time I put into it on this family computer, but like my brother can attest to it because like all he was wanting to do was go onto MSN and talk to his girlfriend, and I'm there like, fuck off, Cyrodiil's not going to save itself. It's so good. Going back to, I can still go back to it and play it. I can quite happily start a new character, and I will get 60 to 80 hours in before I start to get bored of it.
That's a good testament to how good it is, especially with modern open world fantasy RPGs.
Yeah, like that's I don't know. It's I love it personally, but I find it really hard to recommend to people, if that makes sense. Because because I'm just like, if you've never played Oblivion, you're not going to like it because games have come so far since then. But I had never played anything like it. There's like Morrowind before it, obviously. There had been stuff like it before, but it was my first exposure to the series. Yeah, it's still my favorite. I've got such high hopes for Elder Scrolls 6, even after the whole Fallout 76 debacle.
And what a debacle that was.
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
I've got that sat in front of me, actually.
Really? Why?
Yeah. It was bought for me by a gift, but anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Fair. Okay.
Can I tell you my favorite? I like Oblivion, not as much as you do. I had some issues with it, but my favorite, my best memory of playing Oblivion was me and two of my best mates at the time, who used to come round to my house every day and play video games. That was the first game we decided we were going to get all the achievements in, right? So we played through it a fair few times, and at the time, nobody had an Xbox that could connect to Xbox Live because no one would pay for it. That was that time, when you didn't play live. And I got it, and we had to make a point to, every time we played that game, every time we played Oblivion, we had to disconnect from the Wi-Fi, the broadband, because it would update and we wouldn't be able to get all the achievements unless we didn't have the DLC.
Oh god, yeah, the Shivering Isles. Fucking love the Shivering. Yeah. No, I'm not getting into that. That'll take too long.
But something about you have so much, and we finally did it. It turns out I think it was on my friend Chris's account actually, but something about going to all this effort of because we had to move everything in my room at that point because of where it was all set up, and shift where the telly was, but you did that because it was such a good game,
Yeah.
And that was my favorite memory of it. Yeah.
I found the weirdest stuff to just be so engrossing when it came to Oblivion. If someone sends me on a quest to go and pick flowers, I will happily go and do it. There's this one save I've got on the 360, and it's quite sad, but I just decided, fuck it, I want all the armor in the game, and I bought the mansion that you can get in the house, and I spent forever. I went into every major town, killed a guard so that I could get his armor because it's specific to each city. It always looks different. And then I had every single set of armor in the game, every single weapon, had it all laid out in display cases and across tables and on bookshelves. It took so long, but I just got so into it. I lost myself doing that. But Oblivion, it's my most played game of all time. I absolutely adore it.
Decent. Like I said, I've never played it. I used to watch my brother play it, and I did enjoy what I saw. But I've never actually played, I don't think, any of it at all.
No, well, I can't recommend that you go back and do it. There's about what, 4 voice actors across the entire game.
Yeah, if that.
Every single like male Imperial is voiced by the same guy. Regardless of, like, the Emperor is voiced by the same guy as a peasant. But, like, there's even things like, you know, you walk past a beggar and he's like, I'm only asking for a single coin. And then you ask him about rumors and it's this really aristocratic voice being like, I heard recently the Countess of Shadenhold mislaid all her clothes. And then, like, you give him a coin and he's like, thank you, kind sir. Again, it's like, what is going on here? It's so campy and so ridiculous, but I love it. It's so good.
Fantastic.
That was my second to last kind of main entry, so I've got a few honorable mentions just to quickly bash through.
Yeah, go for it.
First one, Resident Evil 4.
Nice.
I've owned that on more consoles than any other one. Oblivion comes close, but I'm just trying to think. So I had the PS2 version. That was the first one I had. When I got the Wii, I obviously got the Wii version, which had the best aiming in the entire... I thought it was brilliant, as well as the GameCube version, just for the sake of having it. I got a gaming PC. Resident Evil 4 was the first game that I bought for it. I had the 360 port, and now I've got it again on Xbox One. Again, endlessly replayable. It's once you get to about halfway, it's just a big escort mission, but I don't hate it, so it must be doing something right. A lot of people say 4 marks the downturn of the Resident Evil series, but I think 4's the peak.
I think 4's the highlight, definitely.
Yeah, I never played it, and I think 4 is meant to be the fucking highlight. I think 5 is where shit started to fall apart, but I loved 5.
Yeah. Was 5 the first one you played?
Yeah, 5 was the first one I played. And I like all of them.
Yeah, I'm dying, no pun intended. Actually, no, fuck it, pun intended.
Zingers!
To play the remake that just came out. It looks really good. But yeah, Resident Evil 4. Next is Cuphead.
Nice.
Came out a couple of years ago on the Xbox One. Similar reasons to Mega Man X. It's just, it's the controls are just so tight, but it's more of a boss rush game. But the aesthetic of the game, just the design, like the
beautiful.
30s, it's so good. Beautiful. And again, the soundtrack, like specific, there's this song on it. I think it's called Dice House, but it's for like one of the sub bosses, Mr. King Dice. It's so catchy. It's unbelievable. There's this box set vinyl. Well, there's this vinyl box set of the Cuphead soundtrack. I would love so much to have it, but again, it's like £300, and I'm never gonna get it. But Cuphead was just so unbelievably good. I don't know what I was expecting from it. I kind of bought it on a whim, but I mean, adored it. There was a lot of games came out like that this console generation. Like, obviously they kind of doubled down on more indie games, but you had the likes of Cuphead. Unravel did really well. A Way Out, a really like a recent one.
Oh God.
I honestly debated putting that on my list, but no, just those kind of games. But Cuphead was definitely the highlight for me. Next, where are we? Oh yeah, the newer 2D Rayman games.
Oh, hey. Fantastic.
Absolutely brilliant.
They're my favorite 2D platformers of all time.
Yeah, they're absolutely terrific.
They're so good.
What were they? Legends and something else,
Origins.
was it?
Origins. First one, then Legends.
So good.
I don't know what the designers were on at that point, but those games are just bananas. Like, they're absolutely insane. Legends, I think Legends has got most, if not all, of the Origins levels in it as well. So you can play through both games. Like, they are hard games. Don't get me wrong, they are difficult.
But I don't think they're so hard as to be inaccessible.
Not inaccessible. Infuriating, but not inaccessible.
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to, like, free all the teensies and stuff like that. Like, if
I
you're going
usually
for 100%, it can be an absolute headache. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm actually currently playing through Legends again. I was playing it today, in fact.
Nice.
Those music levels that they added.
Yeah, the Black Betty one is one of the best things you'll ever play.
It's just, I would play if they were to like release a DLC pack with just music levels, and it was like, just give me that, because it's been. I mean, Legends came out in 2013, I think, so that was 6 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
We've still not seen a third game. So Ubisoft, if you're listening, Like, please, a third Rayman game would be amazing.
They are just like the way they control is just fantastic. I've never.
It's unreal.
It really is. They've done
it's so unbelievably good. And again, the art style.
Yeah, they did such a great job with it. Fantastic games.
I prefer them to the originals, and I'm ashamed to say that. I mean, the first one, I mean, they're completely different games. They're both Rayman, but the first one's like a really slow-paced, like platformer, but the second one is just, it's lightning-paced. It's so fast, but it's brilliant. Lastly, this is my final honorable mention, and Jason, I think you're probably going to have a thing or two to say about this, but I had to put Guitar Hero on here somewhere.
Hey.
Like, my music taste, I mean, it started off with like Busted, then moved to Eminem, and then Green Day, and from there, I feel like Guitar Hero was responsible for a lot of what is now my current music taste.
Yeah, same for me. In particular, Guitar Hero 3.
Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock, absolute best in the series. Yeah. It's so, like...
I remember having fond memories with you, Murdo, playing Guitar Hero.
Yes, exactly. And Rock Band as well. I felt like I didn't like Rock Band as much.
No. But Guitar Hero 3, for me, is the pinnacle of music rhythm games. It was just... The sound, the music selection was so good, so varied, in fact, as well.
Oh yeah, hugely.
And the difficulty was there as well. Should you be good enough to go for that? And I don't know, man. It was just so good, so good.
It was lightning in a bottle, and then they milked it.
Oh yeah, they milked it,
killed it dead, and then resurrected it and killed it again. I didn't really. I played Guitar Hero live once at your house, maybe actually, Jason.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the same. It wasn't bad, but I don't think. Yeah, like I said, lightning in a bottle. They let it escape and they couldn't capture it back.
No. Yeah, Guitar Hero 3 was the absolute pinnacle. My favorite, unsurprisingly, like I had listened to one of their albums before, and I was like, that was actually really pretty good, and then left it be, and then I got Guitar Hero Metallica.
Yeah. And
I'm now dangerously obsessed with the band, and it's in no small part in thanks to Guitar Hero Metallica.
It did mold a certain youth to their music taste in that time. It really did.
Because I mean, as I say, I was listening to I was listening to predominantly Eminem before Guitar Hero came about. I was like, well, this rock stuff's actually pretty decent, isn't it?
Rocks.
Yeah. Guitar Hero has to be in there.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I think it's just me and you, Murdo, now.
Did Jamie ever play Guitar Hero?
I don't know. I would dare say probably.
Jamie?
No, he's away. He just messaged the group chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, okay, fine then. Well, he doesn't like my number one choice anyway, so it's fine. Anybody who kind of knows me or my gaming habits recently is going to know that the FromSoft games, the Dark Souls games, are my number one.
Okay.
They have to be.
Which one out of the?
Oh, it's hard to say. Like, if I'm going to talk about pretty much all of them. My favorite game of all time is Bloodborne.
Okay.
That's my number one. Nothing. I can't see anything. I can't see myself enjoying anything as much as I love Bloodborne. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But it was 2012. I was sat and I decided, I really just want to play a really good kind of fantasy setting game. 2012 or 13, thereabouts anyway. And I went down to Game and I bought 4 games. I bought The Witcher 2. Nice. I bought Dragon Age 2.
Hey.
Hey, Jamie.
Oh, he's back.
Sorry.
Witcher 2, Dragon Age 2, Dragon's Dogma, and Dark Souls. Now, I've only played one of them. I stuck in Dark Souls first and never went near the other 3. For the first... Oh, God. I want to say 40, 50 hours of playtime. I sucked hard at that game. Like, I was so... I spent like 10 plus hours in the starting area alone. So they're not easy They're not easily accessible games.
Yes,
They are not.
see-
I fucking hate those games.
See, for me, that because I've never played. I've played briefly Bloodborne, but that just sounds like the fucking worst thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a particularly patient man, but I don't know. I stuck with it. I rage quit it about like 5 or 6 times. Like our pal Andrew, I sent him I don't know how many just venom-filled messages about how shit this game was, and I was never touching it again, and how I'd rather be having fun with any other game, and then I'd be back playing it the very next day. There was just something about it. I couldn't get away from it. In the end, my first run-through of the game took me over 70 hours, but I can do it in 4 now, and I feel pretty okay with that.
Jesus
Like,
Christ.
There's people who can complete the first game in like 20 minutes. It's disgusting. But 4 hours, I'm happy with. It really is. You've got to just bash your head against. Like, it's another example of a game that I absolutely adore, but I can't recommend to everybody.
Can that be the next thing that Jason? Can that be the next big recording thing you do? Just us sat for 4 hours watching him play Dark Souls.
Yeah,
You're right. No, that's a terrible idea. Fuck that
It is a
noise.
bad idea.
Unedited.
But no, like you bash your head against this wall for like 40, 50 hours, and then at a certain point you hit your head hard enough and something clicks, and then you just kind of get it. And then from that point on, it was like halfway through my first playthrough of Dark Souls 1. The rest of the games I didn't find to be quite as difficult anymore. There's just a certain way you have to play them, and once that clicks, they're so enjoyable. Dark Souls 2 came out, I didn't like it as much, but I mean it's still a Souls game, and I still like it more than a lot of other games that I've played. Like for me, a less good Dark Souls game is still pretty fucking fantastic. Bloodborne then. Bloodborne's the one I really want to talk about, because it's the reason I bought a PS4, and I've never looked back. Like, PS4, I would say, is by far and away the winner of this console generation. I'm not wanting to really get into that, but it's the reason I bought one. It took everything that you had spent the last 2 games learning from the previous 2 games, like your slow methodical pace, keep your shield up and pick away at health, chucked it all out the window. It was lightning fast paced. There was a new healing system where if you get hit, you've got a certain amount of time, and if you start dealing damage to the enemies, you get that health back, so it really encourages a more aggressive playstyle. The setting, incredible. Like this, it starts off all kind of gothic horror, quite like Nightmare Creatures on PS1's the closest thing that I can like.
Yeah, probably right.
Liken it to. Right. Starts off like that, but then it goes into this Lovecraftian, like otherworldly, cosmic. Oh, it's mad towards the end. The reason, well, one of the reasons I love these games so much is that they've got such rich stories, such rich settings, and they don't tell you dick. Like, you find out the story through like item descriptions, and it's all told in the world rather than specifically given to you through cutscenes and that. It's done in such a unique way. But Bloodborne, I've been obsessive about it since I first played it, but there was a point at the start of last year I was pretty intensely unemployed, and I had nothing better to do, so I was like, fuck it, I'm going for this platinum. And in the space of 2 days, I think I played through the game about 7 or 8 times.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I didn't sleep, and it was like the best way that I can describe it is so like Annie, who I was with at the time, would go to bed, and I'm fighting this boss, and then she'd come back through 8 hours later in the morning and be like, "What are you still fighting this boss for?" And I'm like, "I'm not still fighting it. Like, I've been through this game like 4 times since I last saw you."
You've gone full circle.
Yeah, I have. Like, it's the same boss, just a different run of the game. But as difficult as it is, I love it. Just the challenge of it. It's so. There's nothing I can say that hasn't already been said about it. Where it is so hard, but it's so rewarding when you eventually get that win, and that's what keeps you playing. Just when you eventually overcome these bosses. Like, I'm a fan of a good boss fight, and these games give you them like in droves. It's especially Dark Souls 2. It's probably the worst in the series, but there's 41 bosses in that game.
How many of those 41 bosses do you have to beat to finish the game?
Oh, probably actually a good chunk of them in Dark Souls 2, because in Bloodborne there's 22 bosses or something like that. 7 of them are mandatory.
Wow.
So you can, like, my quickest run of Blood was 3 hours and 15 minutes. My initial one was like 25 or something. I could gush for hours and hours, but I've never been just as invested in any games as I have. Like, you can't let your guard down at any point. No matter how good you are at these games, if you get complacent, you're gonna get your ass kicked. You can't take it easy at any point. Anytime you open a door, like, it's not a horror game, but you get the same feeling of dread. Even things like you find a treasure chest. In Zelda, you find a treasure chest. That's an amazing thing. In Dark Souls, there's a good chance that treasure chest is going to grow legs and teeth and bite your arse off. Like, I don't know. It's so brutally, punishingly difficult, but just, it's incredible. Dark Souls 3 as well was a good blend of the playstyles of Bloodborne and the first bit. I didn't like it as much as Bloodborne, but no, my favorite thing about it is definitely, like, the story, how fleshed out everything is, despite how little they tell you. Like, there's entire YouTube channels with, like, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of subscribers dedicated to just picking through the lore of these games. It's so beautifully thought out, and the gameplay is so rewarding, and I could go on for hours, but I'll spare you. Yeah, the FromSoft games.
So I've never played any. Well, I've played a little bit of Bloodborne, and I played a tiny, teeny-totty little amount of Dark Souls 3. I bought it on my computer, and pretty much straight away I went in, we start off in like a river bit, and I go to the right hand side, and then there's this fucking massive dragon,
giant crystal lizard.
Yeah, and it killed me, and I was like, nah, fuck this. I went out of it, and I got my refund.
Fair enough. I mean, that's... If you go left, that's the way you're actually meant to go.
No,
as far as to start a back.
He jumps back on, starts playing again.
Yeah. Alright, man. That's excellent. Anything you want to wrap up before?
I mean, no.
Alright, that's tight. Sweet. Alright, well, cheers, Murdo, for coming on and letting us know your favourite games. I want to keep this series going, so maybe next time we can do.
Well, when are we doing yours?
Oh gosh, well, next time I suppose.
Well, Murdo, if you've watched back on Jason's videos, he's actually already done a best games that he loves. So be a real fan like me, eh?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you have.
Oh shit. Haven't you? No, mate. No.
And that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching.
No, so we'll get mine out of the way next time, and then I have ideas of, like, you know, the worst games we've played and you know, that sort of thing. Alright, guys, I appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time.
See y'all later, friends.